buy it so that we don't have to budget it. So you're gonna see a list of things. We could pay for the school psychologist budget for 3 months out of ESSER funds. So that'd be a total of 33,000. We would replace all of the Chromebooks that are currently in the proposed budget. There's $50,000 for that. The Promethean boards also are in the budget, and the total on that was 18,000. So the total of A, B, and C is 128,000 roughly. I did get a number for the iReady math program. Proposed was 175. They're going to do it for 125. So again, we can cut another 50,000. Last night we did propose an increase in our tuition line, so that is an additional $25,000 we have to add. And then Marjorie did some more legwork on our insurance. The property and liability line is going up 11,000, but there's a decrease in the workman's comp line of 14,000, so a grand net decrease of 2,610. So if we were to approve all of the above, we would be cutting $150,000, $150,784 from the budget. I would need to, before we move forward, an action to say that we want to move forward on these ESSER grants so I can get them in the grant and get them approved.
Sure. Any questions about those?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I was looking through and I like, obviously, anything we can take out of the grant is good, but in the Chromebooks and the Promethean panels, I didn't actually see them in the budget for next year.
I think they're defined as technology or something like that.
Like technology budget?
Yeah. 50, 30, 500, 735, right?
Trying to. So on the technology one,
Yeah.
Help me in the-
So 214, well,
so elementary school replacement equipment, 500,735, there's 26,250.
right below it, middle school computer replacement, there's nothing in there.
That is the computer class. And then the next one down is middle school tech replace equipment for 18,600.
Okay, so that's where that's where I was looking at. I saw no numbers there.
Yep.
And we're so obviously only taking some of those.
Just to, there
So
are
it's,
3 lines there, right? 26,250, 18,600, and then 25,600.
yeah,
There's other things in those lines, but those are just the Promethean panel, the cost of the Promethean panels themselves.
Now I'm confused. So these are the Promethean you're talking about here? It was,
so those lines are more than just Promethean panels.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. No,
that's why I was like,
think you thought
well,
I
first I was looking
yeah.
at the wrong number, but then the other one,
I
obviously,
didn't
it
even
still
have
didn't
time to
add up to the
text. I
50.
just
That's
had
where I
to
was
voice the
confused.
text. I'm like,
So maybe I looked at the same with the computer replacement too. Then. Because in the computer replacement,
do
We're
we even need this?
you don't need to. So so
I
where is
actually
the
went back
computer
for it.
replacement?
Yeah, I
'Cause
went
I'm
back
looking at I'm looking at 214.
That would be under the high school.
Each one of these for the computer replacement. Well, this one says district-wide replacement for 50,000 for 200 Chromebooks.
that's the top line there, Marjorie. Is that 53,600? Is that where that's coming from?
222, 5030.
Oh, wait a minute. You even got a function code there.
Yep, I put all the account numbers.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay.
No, but it's 53.6. So we're just thinking.
Right.
Okay, just part of it.
I'm only taking what's indicated there, the Chromebooks.
Basically, we're only doing that because we know we can get that into the grant.
Okay,
Can't software and all that, it gets a little more, difficult.
okay. All right. Sorry, I just want to make sure I knew what was where.
All set, Steve.
Yes, thank you.
Any other questions on what's been presented so far?
I don't know where we're at.
Right, we're on the,
Page,
The page
Do I
that you
have
got,
those?
this is what we got last night.
Last-
Listen, I got a brand new one here.
I think you got it right there on the edge.
take mine out.
I think it's right here. So I think that's the one.
Got it? There you go.
Just went
So-
through,
I got proof of
Okay.
the service. There you go.
One for notes, Tony, and one for,
Yeah, my archive.
There you go. Go ahead, Joe.
So if we're taking it out of ESSA grants for this year, it will not be on our default budget for the year afterwards. Correct?
correct. So then if we wanted to add them in again for next year, we'd have to ask for technically an increase from the default.
sounds silly, but any cut we make, you're gonna have to ask again.
Yep.
That's the hard part.
I'm not a fan of these. Ted.
That's the hard part.
I'm not a fan of these. I know we have to do something, but, because technically, without anything cut, that's our default budget for next year. Because we had it last year. We're not asking for anything beyond what we had this year, next year.
It's gonna be, well, I don't even know exactly the number.
It's not
Not,
exactly
not,
how it
not
works
the, not the
now.
number. We have a certain default list of things that we had in our budget last year. We were asking for the exact same list of things this year. The numbers have changed, but the list of things, if we didn't take anything away, would be the same. We're not asking for additional teachers. We're not asking for buildings. So we have a default that we're moving forward. We're asking to take stuff away from last year's default. Is essentially what we're doing. I understand why we're doing it, but that's what we're doing. So we have a default budget that we're removing stuff from to make a new
No,
default for next year.
Yeah, we're not taking anything, we have a budget that was passed from March of this year. We didn't pass the default. We won the budget that we proposed passed, so it's not a default budget. It's the proposed was the budget committee / board budget. So because the default budget was lower, and I don't remember the numbers, but it was lower than the proposed budget. So, but the thinking is the budget we have today that we're running the school with right now, you're terming that default in essence.
Well, I mean,
Is that
if
what
it's-
you're,
Yeah, I mean, if we
Okay.
have an approved budget for this year,
yeah, no, I just
that
wanted to make sure
essentially,
we were clear.
to my mind, from conversations I've had, that becomes the default. It's because, hey, last year we were at a lower number. We asked for a bunch of stuff. They said, okay. That's now the baseline for the next budget because that's been approved. So
Give
it's,
or take
With-
1 or 2%,
right. So
Yeah, it's not as clean as that.
but it's
But just,
ballpark.
Ballpark,
just
yeah.
in general, the process is, if we didn't take anything away, we could say right now, let's agree to the default budget and move forward. The numbers would be bigger. The items on the list would be the same.
Default budget that the budget we would have would be probably close to the default probably would be lower. Because any one-time expenditures, I can't think of anything that we've got unique this year.
An oven. We bought an oven for the kitchen. I know it's not in there, but it's just a simple thing.
Yeah,
It's a $50,000 purchase. We had to buy it. Well, we did. We bought a dishwasher.
yeah,
It was in the budget.
Yeah.
We decided to take it out of the general fund.
so that type of thing, but
John,
go ahead.
the only thing unique this year is that we have certain individuals that we had in a grant that have been working with certain students that if we did not, they were in the budget. If they weren't in the budget, our default's gonna be higher anyhow, because if they're not hired, we're gonna be paying more for outside help.
Yeah, and I guess I'm sorry, talking beyond this 4 items in this list. I understand these things that we just went through, I guess 3, are from ESSER funds. I'm talking about in general, all the cuts and the changes that we've talked about over the past 3 or 4 weeks. That's what I'm just trying, I've been just working to make sure I understand the implication, because if in fact the list of things that we have on in our budget. If I go through this book, every code is something that we have listed. If we take it away and say, okay, we don't need this, then next year it's not on the list. We have to ask for have it back. And my fear, my concern, and the reason I'm asking is I understand the capital. So you can always ask for back, but they don't always have to say yes. But I just want to make sure that we're cognizant and clear-headed about what we cut and making sure that it's, if it's something we don't get back, it won't hurt us through the future.
Anybody else? Questions about the ones that Terry has presented so far?
Okay, John also asked us to identify basically the last 6 teachers in with a K to 8 certification. So we compile that. I'm gonna say this too. I am somewhat nervous because we can't predict who's moving, who's going, who's staying. I think we figured worst case scenario was the lowest, no bennies. You know, because they're typically a young teacher who's still on their parents' plan. As you can see here, we do have some other teachers who are getting benefits, so just want people to be aware of that too.
So I did have a couple questions there too. Why is there an updated amount from the original amount?
We actually sat down and figured out who the 6 teachers are.
If we were to eliminate the 6 teachers that Terry has proposed, these six lines for each teacher represents the actual teachers that would be eliminated.
Oh, okay, so the original was sort of a.
Estimate.
For example, if
Okay, like
I
it was
put-
an average amount, the second line is
We
a
actually.
real
took-
person
we took-
number.
We took, BA1 with no benefits.
Right, and now you have a real person attached to that number, and that's the real number.
Correct.
So that increases or decreases the production.
Decreases the
right amount.
deduction.
Okay, that's why, thank you.
Any other questions on that one? All right. Next up, if we can go over, revenue.
Out here.
Thanks for the support.
Before you go into that though, I assume the tax rate has yet to be established for Raymond.
Nope.
It was.
So
I looked today and it wasn't off, so that's why I was asking.
I wrapped up my stuff with them
Oh,
Thursday afternoon. I'd actually sent my financials
Wait a
to
minute.
Jennifer
Today?
already. See, Raymond is different. So for me, like when I'm trying to see what my tax rate is in Deerfield, there's a website called New Hampshire Tax Kiosk that I go to. And it gives you like accounts and you just go on and you can get. You guys are not on that website, so I don't know how you guys are notified.
Okay.
Of what your taxes
But
are.
the
But it
tax
wasn't
rate has
like
been,
last week.
okay. Oh, anyways, that's what, because I went to the DRA site and they didn't have it listed, so just curiosity. Okay,
Nope, so
okay.
I sent the financials to Jennifer, and then after that, she called and we wrapped everything up Thursday afternoon.
I had it too. I got it the other night on Monday, but I don't have it with me.
That's fine. I'm assuming you have it, Marjorie?
Your tax rates?
It's like 2072 or something.
Well,
I can look it up.
yeah, I'm just worried about what our rate is and then what the evaluation is, right? Because that's based off,
Well, the state education tax went up significantly, I believe,
Yeah.
40 cents or something.
but what we do tonight, we can't do anything with it, so, right?
Well, no, I'm just saying,
Mhm.
you're asking what our tax rate is.
No, I
It's
understand.
like 2072 or something like that now.
Was that the all-in? That's 2072?
Yeah, don't
total.
quote me on that, but it's
But
somewhere in that
that's,
neighborhood, yeah.
yeah, you're not talking just the school,
No,
you're
that's,
talking the
that's
all-in.
everything.
It's loading.
That's all right.
So the total tax rate right now is 20.72.
On the numbers.
Who pays attention?
Thank you.
The municipal is 4.49.
449?
The county is 76 cents. The local education is 13.95. And the state education is 1.52.
Yeah, that's up from like $1.12 or something, I think, last year. No, it went up a lot.
Well, was municipal the first one you said?
Yes.
Thank
And the evaluation that they base that off of is what?
1,354,042,681. And that's up about
I mean, I'm sorry.
9 million from 1,354,042,681.
I messed that up.
Because when I say 42, I'm assuming everybody went to go 420, but it was.
Yeah.
42.
Oh, 4-2.
Okay, so it was 135.
Oh, I'm in what, fifth grade?
042,
4, 2, 6, what?
681. You're welcome. I don't know if you're.
It's not functioning. No, that's me. Thank you.
That's up 9 million.
So about for 135,000, it's 10 cents.
It's a, yeah, the assessment's up about 10 million.
Yeah, I don't think,
That fast? You just moved decimal places.
wow. We had that figured out last meeting.
I know, I'm just.
Well, that was the old number, but it's
Yeah.
very close to what.
Yeah, I don't think 9 million.
I don't think it went up
To
much.
change it.
Yeah. All right,
Would you say 10 cents for every 135?
ballpark. 135, 4.
Yeah.
Just move decimal places.
Not here, you can show me that.
All right, revenue, thank you.
Revenue. You're welcome. So the tax rate was set last week, which is what we were just talking about. Impact fees, I'm leaving that as is for now. I don't know what that's going to be for this year. Regular tuition is for preschool, I'm leaving that at 30,000 because that's about where it is. I do know there's been talk about adding a pre-K and stuff like that, but until we figure out what that's going to be, and how that's going to impact our fees for that, I don't know. We've never really budgeted for summer tuition, so I added that in there for $1,500. Interest on investments, I increased that by 30. Rentals, I left the same. LGC school care refunds. So we used to receive school care refunds. We received $42,000 this fiscal year. We are not with school care anymore. We're with Health Trust. And if Health Trust is telling me that our increase is going to be 25% increase for our health costs, I doubt I'm going to see a refund from them. Indirect costs. This year I had them change that to 25 on our final revenues for this year, but because we're going to be losing grants next year, I decreased that back down to 20. After school program fees, that with the new scale is at $22,000. Miscellaneous revenue, I'm leaving the same. Before school program fees, I'm decreasing that by 10. In the packet that I handed out to you guys are the next things. So I gave you this long sheet right here and I've highlighted where Raymond is for you all. So the state adequacy for next year is going to remain the same. I called him at the state at 3 o'clock today just to make sure I wasn't reading it incorrectly. And he said, just so you all know that, because the stabilization grant that was established in 2011, that has since gone away. Because that has gone away, it's been hurting some districts. So on this page right here, there's additional aid under this green column, and it's a hold harmless grant. So they are giving that to us so that we're not impacted too much by it. But he did say that that is going to be reducing over the next 10 years. For fiscal year 26, it will go deep, that harmless hold will decrease about $300,000. And that does not include the adequacy money. So it's a separate thing.
Yeah, like we'll see. I don't worry about it next year. Yeah.
And so the state adequacy is going to remain the same. The state property tax, if you look at this page right here, the same page in this column, that's where that comes from.
We don't have
Statewide,
colors. Is that the second column?
it says statewide education property tax.
Okay.
So yes,
Yes. Okay, sorry.
But I don't know if you were counting the first column. Yes, that's the SWAT.
Okay. Oh, the other one's the name, sorry, goodness.
You're okay. And see, I'm cheap. I'm a cheap finance person, so I refuse to print on color.
We can't
This
figure
one
out how to
printed
print
out
on
by
color.
accident.
Budget
so-
No, that's fine. I just, when you said pink and I was like, okay, I know my.
Colors of
colorblind is-
luxury, yeah.
Yeah.
We're on a budget.
Yeah.
We're all like, we're all colorblind.
Imagine it's blue.
The one below that is the EFA phase out grant. I gave you a separate packet for that as well. I do not see what you have. But that's the education freedom account. So I gave you an email explaining what that is and the amount that they're estimating us for us to receive them here. New Hampshire School Building Aid, that is decreasing because as the bond is slowly paid off, that typically goes away. So once the bond is paid off, we will be no longer receiving that aid.
I have a question.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
For the EFA, grant, do they just give a certain amount or do they go by how many students in your school?
So that actually has a total number of students on the sheet behind it. Going all the way to the right has a child count of 4. I think it's a reduction of 4. Bounce back to the email.
Oh, meaning 4 students?
Yes.
Oh. I just wondered so they kind of like say, maybe it affected 4 students in your school? Because I mean, there's some people that were already homeschooling that could get that.
So what exactly does this do? Is it,
The estimate was produced by counting the students enrolled in a district public school on the last day of 22-23 school year and entered the EFA program to start the 23-24 school year. Then the Department of Ed estimated 50% of the adequacy grant the district would have received if the students had remained in their district public school during school year 23-24. Additionally, 50% of what was paid in phase-out grants last year was added. This estimate does not factor in any student who may leave your district to assess the EFA program between the first day and last day of school year 2024, nor does it factor in any students that may leave the EFA program and enter into a public school funded education. However, both scenarios would impact this grant when it is officially calculated next year. So it sounds like they calculate at the end of every year.
They talked about if students left the program. What about if students from Raymond? Right now, they're budgeting for what if it went to 6? Would we get additional money because of that, or is it not working?
So, yeah.
so we have 4 students who are from Raymond, but not coming to Raymond schools, and that's money we are getting for them? I just want to make sure I understand.
They were in the school at the end of the year, but then they didn't sign up. But they also applied for the education freedom account, and that is
And that's
money
the
that people
homeschooling
can
account.
use for either homeschooling or for a school, like a
Okay.
tuition or something.
And then what they would get is the 11,160.
No, that's what we're getting,
That's what we're getting.
because they calculate the impact,
Oh, okay. Oh, we
To
get that
us.
from the state to offset.
because we're not getting their adequacy. rate.
Okay. Awesome. All right, thank you.
Special education aid, typically we budget $130,000 for that. When I finalized the tax rate last week, it sounds like we're going to be receiving more than that. And I asked her if the amount that she gave me over the phone was, like a definite, and she said, well, nothing's definite. I said, okay. I said, so let's increase that now for $200,000. I did email Jody to see if there's a better way for us to start calculating this in the future, because I know there is a way to do it. But I think when I originally started here, the person that was here, I don't think really knew how to do it. And then COVID happened. So I think Jody can help me with this. It's just going to take some time so we can better budget for the special education aid as we move forward.
So you're estimating 200,000,
Mhm.
and we're supposed to receive 200 this year.
No, they said we're supposed to receive more. But that's this year. That's this.
But I'm just going by what you've got here.
Mhm.
Both lines for this, the current school year and the proposed budget for next year both have 200,000 in the line.
Vocational aid, other restricted aid, child nutrition. Those three are kind of highlighted on your sheet or grayed out, if I should say. Because I just like to tally those two because in the state size, those go against the same line. All of those I left the same. The Medicaid reimbursement, I left the same, even though we've been receiving a shortfall because I think we're going to be receiving more. Already to date, we've received about $50,000, which is more than what we received last year at this point. So I think we're getting caught up there. And then I decreased the food service sales to 375 because our sales are not there. So I reduced that to that. And then the federal grants and the child nutrition, I left the same. So right now we're looking at a decrease of revenues of $73,880.
Which is, we're reducing it. Round number 73,900. Thank you. Any questions on the revenue? All right. Marjorie. Just to, before we start, the budget that we're looking at that is being, the administration has proposed right now, I just want to make sure we're all talking the same number, is 30,836,637. Is that? Did I go too fast?
Nope, 38, 36.
Well,
Okay.
oh, sorry,
I just wasn't there yet.
36.
30,836. Okay, I'll go 30,836,637. And that's where it stands when we walked in tonight, without anything that we're going to talk about. We'll have talked about. Okay, I just wanted to make sure everybody was where we're, okay.
So just to further clarify, that number includes zero cutting. That's what that number is, or that number includes all these cuts?
We already cut.
What's been presented to us so far?
So
So-
this number has these things already cut out of it.
No. The sheets that he gave, Terry gave us in the last 24 hours is not reflected in that 30,836 number.
That include the 6 teachers?
Yep, and the paras, and it also includes
Nine
the,
paras, is it
the-
nine?
No,
Okay, so the ones we talked about
Gabriel.
a few weeks ago, the 6 teachers, and 9 pairs, they're still in
yeah, and then
as
the,
of this moment.
the Project Aware, the employees that were under that grant that are, we're, like a better word, keeping or retaining, that's in there also.
Okay.
All right. What I thought we would have the first conversation is, I know Steve had indicated that he wanted to keep the teachers that are proposed to be cut. So I thought we'd start the conversation there. If everybody's amicable to that. Go ahead, Joe.
I would go with the grade 1 and grade 2. I don't think I would go with the UA teacher. Possible, maybe, but we don't know yet, so.
So you're saying when we want to keep at the elementary school you're just talking about, is that correct?
Yes.
Grade 1,
Grade 1 and 2, I'd be okay with what the administration proposed. But the possible grade 1 or / UA teacher, I wouldn't. Because
Okay.
I don't want to get rid of a UA.
thank you.
The grade 1 and 2 with those, oh no, the labs were at the middle school, never mind.
That's fine. I got my,
I'm gonna make copies of this.
I'm off, but I just gotta find it.
Copies of this. Proposal.
Yeah.
You've got to-
At the top,
where are you gonna make?
That was handed to us on the,
Drivers?
got it.
I might be a few minutes. I might have to walk over to say you, but I'll get them.
Do you want to, I mean, I have it right here if you
I
want.
don't, I don't think mine works, Joe, but
Up to you.
by the time it's only taking, it's just right out the door.
It's on our tab. If you've got your computer, do you have your computer with you tonight? sir? Who's missing it?
I'll just
Missing
shoot
it?
off to Steve.
Okay.
Do I have it?
Right here.
You got yours, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. Please.
But, yeah, I have some more.
Yeah.
Over.
So is this updated on the
We're getting restless.
actually for
All right.
67? That's what we're looking at?
No.
So as a refresher,
Teachers are these,
Here, I got them.
these three are these.
Do they?
I got some extras.
All right, thank you.
To the people.
three.
Yeah.
Okay, is that what you need? Just one, Cindy also?
Cindy, do you need one? No.
Cindy's got hers.
I got mine. I'm with it here.
All righty.
Throw everything together. It doesn't-
I guess if it's okay, I'll just say a lot about it in the past. Even with the new numbers presented to us last night for the specific people at a total of 460,000. The impact is 3.5 pennies on our tax rate.
No, sorry,
Makes sense.
where you get that 450.
It's in here on the thing Craig gave us yesterday.
5.6.
Total of
Yes, I'm sorry. Yep, I'm with you.
What was the, yeah, but
Everyone three.
what was the generic number that you used? Because that's,
The original amount.
no, I got that.
Oh, 34 cents,
yeah.
yeah.
But if I was only doing two, what would it be? Like someone mentioned it, that's it.
Well, we
I
did,
don't think I understand.
well, in this list that Terry provided us.
Yes. Yep, I'm looking at it, yeah.
Yep, no, I just wanted to,
Yeah.
we've got teacher one, teacher two, and teacher three. Which, if the board said, we're gonna keep teacher, the grade 1/UA, whichever one that was gonna be, which of the three does that represent? That would,
Two.
the third, what's that?
1 and 2.
But what I'm asking, John, is when they did the original budget, because this, you did, because the original,
It was generic.
the generic one's in the original budget, right? The 30 million that you just came up with.
But they're not generic. So they were tied to people. I basically took the lowest salaries that we had. Because I figured that would be the safest bet, because that would be the least impact, because if somebody with a higher salary left, then we'd have that savings.
So I just got it, okay.
So teacher three,
If they were generic, they all would have been the same amount.
So the difference will only be the 33,865, because you have that as a further now, which you didn't have in the original budget.
Right.
Thank you.
So impact wise, my question is then the 34 cents for that 467,000, is that already in the 1395? And we'd reduce it, or are we adding on to the 1395?
we haven't gotten that far to
I
know.
don't know what the 13.9.
1395 is the school tax rate for now. That was just figured out.
Yeah.
That's, yeah, no, I know.
Sorry.
No,
You
it's a lot
guys
of
are like
numbers.
in this mode where you're just throwing out numbers and
Mark,
I don't know where they're coming.
I don't know how you're just not looking through my eyes and seeing stuff. So the reason I'm asking, I apologize. The reason I'm asking is it makes a difference in and how I approach the rest of the conversation. Because I'd rather not cut anybody. I've made that pretty clear.
Good.
All right, Tony. Yeah, I'm just gonna refer back to these discipline numbers for grades 1 and 2 and ask again how that's gonna help to become teacher. That's a benefit to anybody. Especially me.
No,
Okay, the projected numbers that we have that were presented to us on the 24th of October. In first grade, they're gonna have 13, 14, 15, 14, and 15 students. Our goal is 18 to 1. Grade 2, 16 for each teacher, goal of 18, so well within. Grade 3, 5, 18, and 4, 18 and 1, 19, so 1 over our goal. So the grade 1, which is where we are hearing that the kindergarten and grade one are the areas where the discipline is the issue. However, I think that was reflected in the numbers we got last night.
I got 164 referrals of first grade, 112 in second grade. And a school low of 90 from kindergarten.
Yeah, not, I meant kindergarten, sorry. That kindergarten was the one that was, because we're talking about today's kindergarten moving up to first grade. That's, sorry. Again, can't see through. Not like, unlike Steve, that we can see through.
You gotta look right through my eyes.
Go ahead, Cindy.
I just had a question as to, I know that usually people leave at some point. Like, how does this affect, like, you say we're gonna cut the budget and then somebody just voluntarily, maybe they find another job or something like that, crazy thing like that. How does that affect, can't you just take that as,
We would assume through attrition, leaving,
yeah,
that there would be nobody nobody would get cut. I mean, last year, we lost 55, I think it was 55, and it's either 50 or 55, and we hired either 55 or 50. I don't remember what it was, but 50 some odd people left.
Employees, not teachers.
Correct, but.
oh,
Oh, and that seemed a little high.
There would be a lot of
People at home, I don't want to have them jumping to that conclusion.
No, correct. And I don't know how many of them teachers, but we did lose a good number of teachers. And last year, we were not full. I would say we are real close to being full this year. We do have I think there's, and listen, at the beginning of the year, we got full.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some people have
One-
become ill. Some people have found another job. So we're actively pursuing it again. Nothing's perfect. However, you know, when I met with all the teachers and I told them, guys, this, we're in a little bit of predicament here. I have to be true and I have to, do what I have to do. I said, if I'm 95% sure, if you want to work here, you will have a job, because there are certain people who are going to say, Greenland's calling, Portsmouth's calling, Durham's calling. I get it. And I encourage them.
mhm,
I want them to stay here because I want to build the culture climate here,
Right.
but I'm also not a fool.
so if we say we want to cut a couple positions, it might be that some people are gonna be voluntarily leaving anyway.
Yes.
So,
Just to add on to that question then, in the current circumstance, whatever our X number is, if we lose 3, the idea would be we would retain 3 positions that we'd want to rehire.
If you want to remain status quo, yes, we would rehire.
So
If you
but if
cut
we
them,
cut the positions, then there's no space to rehire somebody.
correct.
That would be the difference. If we got rid of the positions now, natural attrition, we could lose a few people. We'd end up running low like we did last year. But we have the ability to hire people to come back in. If we cut the positions entirely, we don't have the ability to backfill because we'd have to then request extra positions.
Right. To move things along tonight, I'll entertain a motion on how about the elementary school teacher staffing, what we want to do there.
I would make a motion that we don't cut any of the teachers.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Discussion. Yeah, I won't support it. We need to be fiscally responsible, and I've said this when we started this process to the taxpayers. The budget as it is proposed right now, 7.6% increase. Inflation right now in the New England area is 3 something. The security cost of live COLA is 3.2 or something like that percent. I don't know how we can justify not having a fine tooth comb go through this budget and make some hard decisions.
I would just respond to that our primary responsibility is to the students in the school and not to the population at large. And I think we do a disservice to the students. I understand the fiscal responsibility and I get what you're saying. There's other things I'm willing to talk about, but in terms of person to child ratio, teacher to child ratio, I think our best scenario is to keep the numbers that we have.
I guess, Steve, which specific are you concerned about? Because we're eliminating grade 1 and grade 2. And that's the numbers that I gave before, where grade 1, teacher 1 would have 13, teacher 2 would have 14. Teacher 3 would have 15. Teacher 4, 14. Teacher 5, 15. Grade 2, each one would have 16. Which one are you concerned about?
I'm concerned about the whole, because yes, we have a max. We've decided that the highest number of students we want in a class is 18, so we can go up to 18. I understand that is where we want to top out. But I think any educator would tell you that the lower the ratio of students to teachers are, the better that classroom runs, the more education each one of those kids gets, the more attention each one of those kids get. And again, I know I'm very fond of this phrase, but I don't know that this juice is worth the squeeze to the students. There's a lot of things we can cut. There's equipment we can move around. There's positions we don't have anybody in that we could remove from the budget, the paras that we have listed. That would be, sad to lose positions, but if we're not losing people who are here, that's different to me. I guess one question I do have real quick, going back to the budget, the 30,836, that includes the people? Are those,
Those include the pots.
Yes.
That includes
3
first
teachers.
grade teachers,
so
5,
this 836 goes up
Mhm.
if we
Yeah.
keep them?
yes,
Okay.
okay, to put them back in.
That was my other question I had.
John?
Go ahead.
Because the school board's looked at this at least one other time since I've been here, the numbers of what the maximum amount of students we would like to have in it. And the teachers did weigh in on where they would like to see those. And they did, help us come up with the 15 students in 18, second, third, and fourth grade. I'm sorry, first, second, and third grade. And then it went up to, I believe it was 20 in fourth grade, but I'm not sure. I can't remember now. So I agree that where you're coming from, Steve. I just think in this instance, we go too low. People are gonna sit there and say, why?
Yep, I agree. We have a responsibility for over 10,000 stakeholders. And within those stakeholders are students and taxpayers. I agree. But if we don't believe the taxpayer can afford it, why, I just don't understand the logic of proposing something I believe will fail. Go ahead, Tony.
I would just reiterate my previous comments that my main concern would be increased discipline issues with larger class sizes when, it's already a problem. And, we're starting to see and students do better. I just think it's a bad time to be removing things from the whole thing.
Go ahead.
I know you talked to the teachers about this. What were their thoughts?
Didn't say anything. I mean,
What are they gonna?
yeah,
Yeah, they're not gonna say, well, that's, yeah.
They're not
Hey,
gonna,
that's a great idea. Cut some of it.
they could be like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, if we add the first grade teacher in, we would be,
we're not cutting a first grade teacher, we're cutting a second and third.
I'm sorry.
6 to 5, 6 to 5.
I thought,
K1, K1.
I thought his,
yeah. I
There
thought
are
it said-
3
well,
LRES teachers.
We already had 5 teachers in first grade.
that's what I was.
We have 5.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to 4.
No, I meant if we added it,
Oh, I'm sorry.
per the motion on the floor,
Sorry.
we were to add a teacher in first grade and second grade, right?
That's not the motion on the floor, Steve.
No, the motion on
His
the floor.
impression was they were still in the budget to not remove them, but now that they're removed, he'll probably have to amend that motion to.
You'd have to increase the budget by.
Right. That was why I asked that
But
question to
just,
clarify.
just to, but again, right now, those 3 are what specifically? The ones that you had proposed originally?
Second and third and a UA teacher.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, so originally you put grade 1, 2.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
now
but
it's
it's,
3
when we
and
look at this, we're going 6 to 5, 6 to 5.
2.
So the average would we added a 6th teacher for grade 2, correct?
Correct.
It'd be 13.3 on average, students per teacher. And then third grade. So a 6th teacher would be 15.2. I just don't understand how we can justify that, but I'm not gonna say any more. Everybody knows, I think, where everybody stands. Anybody want to add anything at this point? Can you read back the motion, Jen, just so that we're clear what it is at this point? If we have to adjust it, we'll adjust it.
Steve, moved, seconded by Tony to not cut any of the teachers at the elementary school. Oh, you didn't say that, but
We're good, I think, with that. Everybody knows we'll do, if it passes, we'll figure out the budget impact. Does that work for everybody?
Works for me.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So the motion fails. Is there any other discussion about teachers on the elementary school?
I'll make a motion to cut, teacher 1 and teacher 2. Yes, sorry.
I think you guys want to reword it because these people are already cut. So I think what you're asking to do is
Is add,
add one
Okay.
back.
I'll make a motion to add, 1 teacher back to the LRES
you can tell which one that is.
A slash.
No, I mean is on our list.
I don't know if it's one.
It's 3.
Oh,
3.
God,
It's number 3, you said.
I think it'd be number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what we need to know, because we need to set the budget.
All right, it'd be number 3.
Well, because I assumed it would be because
Yep.
one would be the first one to go,
Yep.
two would be the second one to go, right? Okay.
So can we know what that position is?
It's.
First grade or UA?
It's well, you don't have to have that, sir. You just need to be a K to 6. So it's just a K to 6 teacher.
They're all K through
I'm
six.
just, I'm just going by what you looked at.
Right, but I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. We had talked originally that third teacher was going to be either a first grade or a UA. Just so that everybody, and we need to determine that tonight, because when we set the budget, we can't go to the
Yep.
budget committee and say, we're not sure which one we're gonna do. That won't go over too well.
You would go down to 4.
Well, you put very specific.
Yeah,
numbers
71
there.
kids. Well, there's 71 kids currently in kindergarten.
Mhm.
So there'll be 71 kids in first grade. So you would go to 4 teachers,
Okay.
71 kids. Or you get rid of a UA.
Kindergarten.
Come out here, because we're looking to
Thing is-
bring back.
You're back, we're adding
We
one
wanna
in,
put
so I
one
would
back.
assume you would add to the third grade.
I'm so sorry. Yeah,
Right.
I'm sorry. Yep.
Or
I'm confused now, yeah.
So you're suggesting third grade is where we would add that teacher back. So we're eliminating
First and second.
first and second grade.
Okay.
Second and third grade, first and second teacher.
No, that's,
Guys, hold on.
I just want to
I
make
know.
all the same page, that's all.
the original one.
We propose going from 6 teachers in second grade to 5.
Mhm.
And 6 teachers to 5 in third grade. And then when we look at it, so you guys have right now decided that's what you're going with, because you decided not to put those teachers back in. So now we have 5 teachers in second and 5 teachers in third.
Are you sure about that? Because on the original one I have, it says grade 1, grade 2, grade 1 and UA position. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, but I know that, but we
thank you.
got the numbers here, so that's what we decided.
yeah, but you would, if you,
I know.
but you
Yeah,
wouldn't.
it's just a little confusing because the two different
Yeah,
I know we,
sheets say different things.
we got more finite numbers.
So,
but you would just shuffle teachers around though.
That's right. That's what I'm saying is
Right.
if I get 20 first graders moving in and I lose 10 second graders,
Well, yeah.
I'm going, that's what I'm saying is, what we're getting at is that right now, we've cut 2 teachers from K to 3. All right, we don't know, I'm just being honest with you, I can't tell you come September 1st, exactly how this is gonna go. I got an idea,
right,
I got a general idea, I just want to be clear too.
go ahead, I'm waiting.
No, and then so what I'm also saying too is that it's possible we could cut a UA teacher because of the numbers. We would have to redo our UA schedule and have to be creative there. So we would cut 2 teachers from K to 3 and a UA teacher.
I, for one, am not comfortable going to the budget committee and or voters saying, we're not sure where we're gonna cut the
We
teacher.
can say it today.
We need to, in my mind, that's what.
Yep, so we cut a second grade, a third grade teacher and a UA teacher.
So your motion was to add a teacher back in.
Add the UA teacher, we'll just say that.
Okay, thank you.
Right to the-
Go ahead, Steve, do you have oh, wait, I'm sorry. Do we have a second on the motion? To add, Joe's motion is to, what is it, Jen? Did you get it?
I had to add the UA teacher back in.
So that would ostensibly be teacher.
Wait a minute, before we go on, we need to make sure we're all,
Mhm.
we gotta, I'll second that. Your question is what, Steve?
That's the teacher 3 on our list.
Yes.
Any discussion on the motion?
I guess my only question that's going back to the numbers, second and third grade for next year, are you comfortable with those class sizes? Because we're still gonna lose the class sizes you have are with the reductions
Been
in,
voted on, so yes, I am comfortable. I have to be comfortable now, unless you're gonna change your vote.
we didn't vote on anything yet.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
we voted to cut 2 teachers. this
We
year.
voted not to add teachers back in.
Yeah.
Well, now we're looking to add 1 teacher.
How many are we gonna?
Right now, well, we have a budget presented with 3 cuts, but it
Yeah.
hasn't been approved yet. Because we're in the middle of approving whether or not we keep those.
No, we
3 cuts.
voted.
I know what you're saying. We've said we're not gonna add all 3. My question for you is, because I might ask Joe if he'll be willing to add 1 more back in. Are you comfortable with those numbers that you have for second and third grade? I know what you're saying. If you could add 1 of those back in, if Joe would be willing to add 1 more to his motion, I would ask for a number. Are you, if you look at those numbers, you go, it's not the best, but we can make it work? Or you're gonna be looking at it going, this is gonna suck?
If you were at 25, I'd be pulling my hair out. I'd be fighting you tooth and nail. I'm just, but this is not ideal, no, but it is what it is. I mean, I have to, yes, I can't,
Yeah.
I would love it, but I can't.
Any other discussion?
Right.
All those in favor?
I
Unanimous? Right.
I believe that comes up to $55,685, but I could be wrong.
However, we can further reduce it by 52.5 for teacher number 1,
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
Like, there's no cutting,
Complicated.
right? Because we already cut those, so
That's already done already, so,
No,
because we're not,
We have to go in,
No, they haven't picked.
oh, we haven't added that one, but,
Yeah.
geez, now you're making this more
be
complicated.
clear. We're adding in the number that was taken out originally, correct? Is, what number are we adding back? in, please?
55,685.
55,
65.
thank you.
And you're saying that's the teacher 1 is where we get the extra 5,200.
Correct.
So it's a net gain, net add of about 50.
All right. Next up, middle school. We've got 3 teachers proposed to be eliminated in the middle school. I'll entertain a motion on that.
Okay. So let me ask this question on this list, before we get into the these. Which one of these is the FCS teacher 1, 2, and 3?
Again, it's certifications.
all the certifications. It doesn't, people can, just because they're teaching a certain class, they can teach a different class. They might be reassigned.
But for example, we have 2 lab teachers.
Yep.
And they're in 7th and 8th grade.
Yep.
Are those individuals the ones, I can ask. Are they the ones being eliminated in this budget, or is it, we have others that are lower,
I believe,
that are certified, and those teachers could go elsewhere?
yes, there is,
Okay.
as you asked, but there's also second scenario too.
No, I understand.
So my question is, because we specified before with the UA teacher, I would be in favor of a motion that included keeping an FCS specific teacher, not a lab teacher. FCS teacher.
The UA that was proposed to be cut.
Okay, so that, it doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, or 3 in this list. If I make the motion and say FCS teacher.
To add
that
back
can
in,
be- Yeah,
go ahead.
What's FCS?
that's,
Family Consumer Science,
Right.
they do cooking and sewing, yep,
And healthy eating and,
and other things.
yeah,
So what would have been
They're
home
famous.
economics?
Huh? yes, it would have been, yes.
Contemporary living
Yep.
skills or whatever they called it.
Back in the day.
It was contemporary living skills. And that was
I was going to look at keeping there, but moving one of the lab teachers, keeping one of whichever one Harry and Tom decide, it's the best suited, reconstituting that the way they have that makeup right there. And repurposing one of the lab teachers to a foreign language teacher, because we are one of the only that doesn't have a foreign language teacher. When we talk about our customers, putting our own customers behind the 8 ball when they get into high school, because there are so many high schools that are already, they're already a year ahead or more. In cases, they're more ahead, but they're at least 1 year ahead.
So if I'm clear on what you're asking, you're okay with the math and reading lab positions staying removed,
No,
but adding in or swapping that for a foreign language person?
no. Not staying removed. I would add back all 3 teachers, but one of those teachers, I would sit there and make
Oh,
a
okay.
foreign language teacher and keep the FCS one.
Okay.
Because we don't have a lot, I haven't seen FCS in a lot of school, middle schools, but I mean, where we've had, I have to say UAs at the middle school have probably been the one thing that we've been missing out on the last couple of years, and they've had to take math for a whole year. The kids aren't exactly going, let's take more math today.
Numbers are outrageous.
So if it's okay, I would like to make a
Okay.
motion
Yep, go
to
for it.
keep the teachers in the budget, keep the FCS teacher, reconstitute one of the lab teachers into a foreign language teacher.
Is there a second?
That's a motion.
I would second that.
So you're adding one teacher back in, Joe? Is that accurate?
No, all 3 teachers back in.
Okay.
And how much is that added to the budget back? I don't think I have the paper.
265, 269, maybe 270. Well, sorry, which column are we using here?
The original amount.
338,062.
No, that's for all 6.
330.
The 338 is for all 6. That's really about 180.
Oh, you're right.
187,
Yeah.
188, approximately.
Marjorie, when you get your,
Times 6 is 18, right?
I have a question.
8,000,
What was it again?
268, 889.
I see 60, 608, 57, 712, and 6209. Basically, 3 teachers at around 60,000 each is around 180,000.
I don't know what happened.
The middle numbers are much higher.
That probably includes insurance.
You had the updated amount number. Those are high.
117,529.
Yes.
9?
Yes,
I'm sorry, go ahead again with that. I wasn't ready for it.
I'm sorry. 178,529.
Discussion on the motion?
I have a,
Go ahead, Cindy.
so with the proposal, if you didn't have these 3 teachers, what would you do? Like for a math lab? I think we talked about that, didn't we?
Couldn't be one.
They still have math.
They still have
Teachers.
math,
Yep.
You just don't
And-
have that lab.
but what did how often did they use the lab?
So basically, right now, the team is broken up that every 6 weeks, 7th grade has reading lab. And then 8th grade would have math lab, and then in 6 weeks, it flip-flops.
I
And
think,
it's every 6, there's a math, basically a lab, let me just say, a lab attached to each grade. That just makes it simpler.
7th and 8th grade.
Rotate back and forth.
and it's in their rotation, so they go math lab, they've got science, they've got,
So is it like continuing what they're doing, or is it like a different type of activity?
It's both. Sometimes it can be a different activity, but it's also, it facilitates what's being taught in math and what's being taught in reading. So it's both.
And why did you propose to cut it? Like, how can we live without it?
How can we live without it? I mean, there's gonna be some impact, yeah. Test scores could be affected, might not be affected. Cindy, is just one of those things that
Well, I just think you must have a reason, like you don't just
when I looked at the middle school, we
arbitrarily.
just sat down, what can we? It's so hard to say this. I don't, knowing that the budget was so high, what could we do? That's just basically it. I'm gonna be honest, I think the cuts were a little easier at the elementary school because the numbers were so low. Not as easy at the middle school. So, but we realized that, and maybe to be a high school, we couldn't do anything because it would impact the program of study. We took a look at the high school. And if we, right, wrong, or different, we threw some things against the wall and none of them would work. Because it just, if you have to have so many teachers because the program of studies, and we didn't want to impact that. So it's this one's more of a conundrum.
Mhm.
Are you just holding your hands that way or?
No, I was waiting.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Just let Cindy. And again, my motion is it would be up to them which lab they want to keep for this, because it is
Right,
6
I
months
get
and
it.
6
I
months.
just wanted to
And-
ask about these
Yeah.
logistics, because, I mean, technically, in my opinion, whatever affects the students, like closest to the students should be something that you make a priority. But the thing is, like, there's a lot of things you can't change, like electric bill and the heating bill, and that kind of stuff. And I don't really think it's really that much money compared to $30 million. Like,
When you start adding it all up.
I know, but I mean, to me, it is a priority to have the teachers, and cutting that little bit, it's like, cutting that little bit, does it really make that much difference in the overall budget? I hate to say that because I'm all for cutting the budget. But I don't want to cut things that directly affect the kids, because if you do things that directly affect the kids, that's the most important part of the whole program. So yes, it's a conundrum.
This is more of a conundrum.
So I don't know, like, I don't want to vote for it or against it.
One
I don't know.
of the biggest things with the labs though right now
Mhm.
is that a lot of schools, if you had good grades in say English, right now they're taking an English lab, or a reading lab, you want to call it. They could be excellent readers, which they're in there with other students that need more help. And they're only doing it for 6 weeks here, then they're going over the math, vice versa. Where I'm looking at, okay, we'll let the administration decide which one they should keep. But then you have the world language teacher for those students who excel, especially in the 8th grade, where they can get credits for high school already.
Yeah.
And they're already moving forward. Like my son's already taking, 3rd year of Spanish. He's only a sophomore, which my daughter will be a junior when she's taking it. A lot of schools around here, they have it for 8th grade where you can get that credit for Spanish.
Well, the thing, we talked about that before, and they said that they had an opening, but they couldn't find a teacher.
I think they couldn't find a teacher because I don't think it was appropriate. It was considered a UA. I am not in favor of having a foreign language as a UA. It needs to be something that a kid is taking every day,
Mhm.
178 days. Then they learn it. Because if you take it as a UA, you learn how to count to 10, and I'm going to exaggerate, so please. And then you get it again next week, and guess what? You have forgotten to count out of 10. Then you finally learn the days a week. So you are not conjugating verbs. You are not getting your vocabulary. You are not learning simplistic sentences to keep going and going. You can't have those conversations. You're just learning the culture
Oh, yeah.
and simple.
Getting your feet wet.
Yes, that's right. So when it's an actual class
Mhm.
and you're taking it every day, you're going to get something out of it. So I would not be, so if you came to me and said, UA, nope, you're wasting your time and your money.
Given Joe's proposal, would that teacher, the way he proposed it, being added back in, fit what you just
We
described?
would have to take a look at the master schedule and redo it and make sure that happened at a minimum of 7th and 8th grade. And if we could get, here I go again, if we could make 6th grade a UA, that's fine. That's a good thing. But the purpose is that 7th and 8th grade is getting that class every single day for those students who want Spanish or French, or like we wanted to do in Barrington's, maybe Latin. We had to get a Latin teacher. I'm like, when your 10 kids want to take Latin.
You had 10 kids who wanted to take Latin. I'm surprised about that.
So I'll just answer just what you were talking about with the budget. The impact of 178,000 is about 12 cents. When you add it into the tax
12
rate
cents per.
per thousand.
Yeah.
It's not tiny, but it's small. Compared to what you were talking about, and what I agree with is taking teachers away from kids who need teachers. And if I'm gauging your tone correctly, this is a lot tighter a squeeze than the elementary numbers were.
Yep. Again, it's doable. Not ideal.
Sorry.
I'm not gonna support it on 2 fronts. One is I don't agree with adding a foreign language teacher. If it was, if somebody's talking about adding something that supports the strategic plan, I'll have a conversation about that, but foreign language doesn't support the strategic plan. And the other part is, we keep adding to the budget, we're not gonna have a budget that gets supported by the voters, and we'll be dealing with a default. So I will not support the motion on the floor. Any other,
Can I ask a question? What is the default budget right now?
we don't know.
What
Hasn't
was it
been
last year?
established.
Right now, well, yeah, it hasn't been established, but if we add the teachers back in that were cut, those would go over to the teachers. They were in last year's budget. So we added these 3 teachers, we added the other teacher back, those go towards the default budget. And like John said, any one-time expenditures, which I don't think we really had a lot this year. Actually, Marjorie sent me the thing, it wasn't much at all. We didn't buy anything big this year for a one-time expenditure that was on our budget at least. And with the increases, this might be the first year in a long time, we might be pretty close to having a default budget that's over our regular budget, but we'll see. I wasn't gonna come.
Yeah,
on that
do you
one.
have any ballpark for the default? Anybody?
Give me 2 minutes and I'll get Marjorie's email.
Anything else?
Ballpark for the default? You're-
I can't develop the default budget until you guys tell me what the budget is.
Okay,
Because I have to take our budget, I have to move it over, I have to add and subtract certain things.
so
So
my question is
Go ahead.
too, like, between the default and the budget, are we trying to keep them somewhat the same? I think I might have asked this question last year.
Try to get them as close as you can,
Okay,
unless you have a real good reason that your proposed budget is higher.
because if it's too high, the people are gonna say, nope.
My opinion, Cindy, is I don't worry about what the default budget's going to be.
Mhm.
I worry about what I think is the best interest of the over 10,000 stakeholders that we have.
Well, I do too. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm thinking that one too. I'm thinking of the
Anything
kids.
else on the motion? If not, all those in favor of adding,
Okay, can you repeat the motion, please?
it's to add back the 3
Okay.
teachers, one of which will become a foreign language teacher. I'm assuming either French or Spanish because that's what we have here at the high school.
I figured you'd be a Latin guy.
Anything else?
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
So how many kids usually take a foreign language? Would that be all the junior hires or?
Again, I couldn't tell you, 50 to 75%.
Okay, so it's a good number.
So it's not by choice?
It would be, but again, we would want it by choice, but we're also going to encourage that if a student is a struggling reader, we're not going to say no, but we would really encourage you to take reading, and some students might not want to take Spanish, so it is going to be open. I'm just trying to be,
Right, but because when we've opened it up to 8th grade to take it for credit.
Yep.
It's usually been about a quarter of the class.
ballpark, right?
When, well, the last
Well,
time,
we've had.
Because they only-
Unique, 1 year where we, I think, had 2 Spanish classes.
well, yeah, but then there was,
But on average though, ballpark, it's about a quarter when we've offered it for 8th grade is a general thumb.
yeah, but we had restrictions on who could go in and.
Yep.
And the biggest thing was is that, well, let's see here.
I'm just trying to get a perspective as to,
We had about, give me a second here. Almost half, I think, when they had it up here, because they actually bust up 2 sets of students up here. One on Green Day, one on White Day, to take that first
yeah, it
period.
was actually, one was French and one was Spanish, and the Spanish was, I think, almost exclusively all 8th graders, and the French was maybe 8 or 10 8th graders, and then the rest were high school students. Go ahead.
if I may, I think the intention of the question, and tell me if I'm wrong, was, will we have enough kids to make it worth having a foreign language teacher? And from what I'm hearing, it sounds like yes. Enough kids will want to take a foreign language that we could fill a class.
I haven't surveyed them, so I couldn't give you an exact answer.
We have
This
this
is going off with numbers from Barrington and again, we can't restrict, because that doesn't work anymore. We're,
But
the
anecdotally,
state frowns on when you say a kid can't take a class.
Right.
But
it sounds like the only reason we would have that situation is if we filled a classroom, that we couldn't actually put more kids in. Otherwise, we're not telling the kid they can't take the class.
we can't.
What the question is hypothetically, next year we had a foreign language teacher and every what grade are we offering it to? Eighth and what?
7 and 8 to start with.
And if every one of them wanted to do it, we wouldn't be able to support that,
Probably not.
because that's the question.
Yeah, that's true.
So there would be restrictions on,
Well,
How
it'd
many
be-
kids are
but it
we
would be by
allowing?
class size.
right, right, absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
I'd have to say, John's right, then we'd have to say, nope, it's only 8th grade.
Whatever it would be,
Or open it up only if there's space that the eighth graders don't, so
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever it is, but yeah, that's a schedule.
But we'd be, yeah,
I'd have to say that's a problem I'd like to have, but.
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, but I'm good.
maybe open it up to 6.
both ways. Our options are, I mean, we don't know till
We have more.
we start with this and then
Yeah.
this and then,
So to
Anything
clarify, the motion was keep FCS, keep one lab and convert a lab to a foreign language.
Correct.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so it was 4-1 yes. So we're gonna add in 178,000 back in,
17852.
529, right? So that's, so far with the elementary school and the middle school, adding those two, are 20 cents more, okay? Anybody, have any adjustments to the budget beyond the teachers they would like to discuss? Did I see a hand raised down there? I just saw a flash, no?
No,
I
I
think-
think shuffling.
Okay. So nobody has anything they want to adjust?
Pick it up. Hold on a second.
Yeah, something.
I don't have I forgot to put my end table off. so. I know we talked about what we have in our grants now. Is a district-wide psychologist in our grant now?
yes.
This current year, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question, Joe.
Is the district-wide psychologist in that grant that we have now? And that's one of those ones, if we move it over to, if we cut it, if we do, how do I put it?
We're not cutting it. So the ESSER three grant runs through September 30th, 2024. He has a salaried position starting July 1st. The grant would allow us to take 3 months of salary and benefits out of ESSER three to reduce the budget by 32,000.
So
So
the,
the vision is what we did.
We're just getting a reduction because of the grant. Correct.
so this is not part of the other grant where if we don't have it in the budget, the default goes up or anything like that, correct?
What other grant you're talking?
Project Aware.
Budget aware.
He's not in Project Aware. He's in
That's what,
his full salary.
Okay. I'll say, go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
no, I'm good with taking that out of the budget and moving it to ESSER.
Oh, and you said I-Ready was gonna come out of ESSER too, and they're giving us.
Yeah, I think we have to reduce it.
There was 175,000 budgeted and we got it down to the actual prices will be around 125
Oh, okay. That's not, it's in the regular budget.
in the regular budget curriculum.
And then I have to get my numbers here.
So I'm gonna ask, just because we've had so many sheets of paper with different numbers at different times, is this, I have a packet here we got on, it looks like October 24th. Was this a review of things that were being cut or that were cut from the budget? Or was this just a list? Like,
Questions from, I think it was from October 24th that night. And we will receive that on the 25th.
Those are just follow-up questions
just
that you guys
descriptions
had.
of what we have.
John,
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to cut an extra $185,804 between these district-wide school psychologists. The, you know what? I screwed that one up.
You're gonna cut another,
Hold on a
cut the
second.
psychologist?
No, We're moving them over.
Oh, that's, your language was cut.
Yeah,
Did I say
that's, I
cut?
think we
My
don't
fault.
think cut.
I meant cut from the budget. I didn't mean cut it from the
We
whole
can't
thing,
cut the
but,
whole thing. They're only getting 30 off though.
but yes.
Here, just to say, I'm just saying, if on this list, what you want to do,
Not what he's doing.
huh?
I don't think that's what he's doing. Go ahead, Joe.
I screwed. Give me a second. I'll make a motion to pay for the district-wide school psychologist for whatever time period through ESSER funds for $33,194. Reduce the curriculum line $50,000.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, can we do the Ezra ones? If you're gonna do Ezra, just,
I do ESSER for just,
you can just individual,
okay.
not individual, but if you're gonna want to fund it, I think that's the easier way than trying to then go, oh, we're gonna cut this one in the it's gonna be confusing for me anyways.
Are we talking about the paper we got yesterday, Joe?
Today.
Yes.
Oh, yesterday, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
So I'll move to pay the remainder of the salary of the district-wide school psychologist through ESSER funds,
Do you have to specify the amount?
$33,194.
I'll second.
That's your motion?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if you were gonna go on. Okay, second, okay. Any discussion? So I'll ask the question. The administration is proposing ballpark 128,000 transfer. Your motion is just that, and you don't are you anticipating doing other transfers or no?
I was not, for the sheer fact is that we're trying to get on a rotating schedule for our replacement of equipment, so that it would be inside our default budget going throughout the years. And if I take it out now, it's not gonna be in the default starting next year. So yes, it would work out decreasing it this year, but if I don't get things next year and it's a default the year afterwards, then I would have to sit there and we wouldn't get those replacements. And then we're in the same boat we were 10 years ago.
So we were in a good spot 10 years ago. Great spot 10 years ago. So in essence, the other ones you're not gonna propose.
Well, I just thought you wanted the ESSER one for.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the Ezra, the 128,000. That's what I'm trying to understand.
That's
Okay.
all I was doing.
Right. Any other comment? Any other?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How much is in the ESSER
Yes.
bill
Thank you.
The balance,
balance?
That we don't anticipate.
70 something, 78. It was in the financial packet yesterday.
That's
Sorry, I don't
for
have
this
that.
128.
I'll pull it up for you.
So we'd have a net 50 left if we
Say
use
it
this
was like-
128.
Well, we're still adjusting things, like there's a teacher we don't think we're gonna be able to fill.
they're still in there, so we got some.
But just on that, I just want to make sure that.
But my last reconciliation through yesterday, well, through October 31st was about 178.
And this 128 would reduce that number
50.
to 50. That's what I was trying to figure out. If it was already in there or if it was further reducing.
Oops.
And that has to be spent by when? Like,
The 30th.
yeah.
I got 179,306.92.
Perfect, yep.
Is there anything else we wanted to put in do with that? We hadn't really mentioned anything.
Well, we can discuss that later. My motion was only because with these two other items, placement equipment on the schools and the Promethean boards, it's kind of getting us out of it always being in our budget every single year. So it's in the budget and it's in the default budget and it keeps rolling around. Well, we should only be replacing just about the same amount every single year for, need two here. They're end of life.
Mhm.
We should know
Right,
that.
on a rotating schedule, the
Yes.
same number.
And I'd hate to get out of that, even good intentions
Mhm.
to cut the budget. I just don't want to have it affecting us later on down the line.
Any other discussion? Yeah,
Just-
for me,
Oh,
go ahead, Scott.
sorry. For
Steve, excuse me.
clarification, I can be Scott. For clarification, it's just 1A.
Yes.
I am not going to support the motion because I think we should be doing everything that Terry had suggested. We would be purchasing, we would continue to be on the rotation that we strive to be on. The only difference is it won't be in the default budget. But otherwise, we're still on the same rotation. And I want to be able to go to the voters and say, we did our best to make this budget manageable for the taxpayer. All right, anything else?
Yeah, I would just add, again, to the other side of that, we have a closer customer base. That is the smaller subset of the town that benefits from all this stuff. And if we take these out of the default, then next year, now we have to ask for an extra $100,000 in the default because we won't have had the ability to add them back in because we've removed them. And now the next time we have this conversation, it's, do we want to increase the budget by $100,000? And we have the same conundrum of what do we do with the voters? So if we leave it, it's sort of a flat situation. But if we take it away, then next year it feels like we're adding it back in, even though across 3 years, it's the same number.
Go ahead, Joe.
We can actually have best of both worlds on this one here. Yes, we can keep it in the budget now. The budget passes and then 3 months into it, if we need to, we can use ESSER funds to pay for it and then give the taxpayers back their money at the end of the year like we have in the past. And it would still be in our default budget. So it would still be rolling forward no matter what, and we'd still give the taxpayers back their money.
Anybody else? All right, all those in favor of the motion to use $33,194 for the school psychologist district-wide, using Ezra for that 3-month period. All those in favor? Opposed? So I didn't see your vote, Cindy, I'm sorry.
I said yes.
Okay, so 3-2, yes. Motion passes.
And I'll make a motion, because I think we have to make a motion on this one, if I remember correctly, to reduce the district-wide curriculum line by $50,000. To increase the high school tuition line by $25,000. And to decrease, is it just insurance line by 2610?
That's the whole thing.
Yes,
So that's 2, 3, and 4
correct.
As
on our sheet from handed out last night. And if you get a second, please.
a second.
Second by Steve. Any discussion?
Okay, so this means that the money and we have to reduce the budget, so instead we're using the ESSER funds, is that what?
No, this is basically, things that they looked into and they could increase, we have to increase, or we have to decrease, like the tuition that should go up.
Yeah, okay, so that has nothing to do with ESSER.
Nothing to do with that.
Okay, we just have to do it. Okay, I already read it and I thought that's what it meant. Okay.
Don't have to, but they're asking us.
Well, the 3, I think we had to. They're asking us to.
On the insurance, we're not getting a lot of choices either, right? Those prices are what they are.
I'm still looking around. I haven't heard, I reached out to see if people can tell me who else they use. I have not had anybody respond to me.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Anybody else? Nothing else from anybody? I have some things I'd like to discuss. Go ahead, Joe.
Hold on a second. I think Jen has a question.
I almost feel like I have a question.
Okay.
But I just want to check something really super quick. Okay. Did you say, Terry, and I might be wrong, that we needed to still add another 25,000 to the tuition line?
I did.
On top of what's on top.
No,
of
that's
it?
it.
That is the 25. Okay, I thought it was an addition. Sorry.
Yeah, it's that one, the 25 is adding in. It's not subtracting. Correct?
Correct.
So Joe's motion in essence added or reduced the budget by 27,610.
Thank you.
I don't know
Well, we've got,
which one you're,
well, Joe's last motion, the 50.
I forgot the.
Add in 25.
In there.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So,
Sorry, I do have one question.
go ahead.
On the other packet of questions and answers, there was a list of co-curriculars that were being cut.
No, there are nothing's being cut on co-curriculars
Okay, that was,
in the proposed budget.
okay.
I'm about to go into that, but where it goes, we'll see. First question, in the middle school sub, currently substitute, we've got 102,483 proposed. I'm making a recommendation to cut that by 493, excuse me, so we get down to 70,000. And my logic on that is the COVID has been even in the partly responsible for the significant absences that we've had. In part, not a complete, but I'm struggling. There it is. Prior to COVID, so well, 2021, we had 52,767, 21, 22, 117,429, and then 137,284 last year. And I went back into 2019, 2020, and the actual was 68,324. So that's how I got to my number. So I'm making a motion to cut the budget by the 32,493 on middle school sub salary.
And that's 218, 500, 122.
That is correct on middle school, page 2.
So
Is there a
what would the
second?
number be 70,000?
70 flat.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
Second by Tony. Discussion.
Do you think that's gonna be enough? Terry, do you think that's gonna be enough?
How much have we spent this year?
28,000.
Oh, okay.
28,000.
That's this year.
Approximately 28 times
3.
80,000. It'll be close.
Do you have to do 32? Could it be like 25?
It has to be 32.
Should we
That's up for you guys.
dicker a little?
We can dicker, but I just made it because like I said, it's based on,
It brings you right to around that 80 mark.
well, 70. It gets us down to 70.
All right, yeah.
So
Would you be willing to go up to 80? I'd support 80.
Yeah, I'll do, yeah, I'm looking to, I don't think we need to budget 102,000 there.
Well, historically,
Well,
I'm set up.
I mean, last year was 80, but and I know what you're saying, 21, 22, 22, 23 were probably higher because of
Well,
COVID.
well, that's because we were short-staffed, like
Right.
insanely. We were down all kinds of teachers all year long.
there is an additional grade there.
All right.
Oh, and
that's why
Yeah,
I
that-
didn't go down to 50. I did have that thought, so.
I
don't-
think pulled a line up. As of payroll last week, we have spent $38,000 this year.
The other thing we gotta remember is what we do this year with substitute has no impact on what happens next year. But it's just, we gotta go by some history, but I just don't envision needing 102,000.
Already up to 38 this year.
Yeah, that's, you multiply that by 3, you got 104.
For this year, yep.
When you guys make your motion, can I calculate the FICA on top of it too?
I mean, that'd be part of it, right?
Yeah.
No,
So if we, yes, that makes sense to do. But again, I don't know that if people aren't gonna support it, I will draw my motion. I'll make it.
At 38, that's a lot.
Tony, you accept, do you, okay, with drawing your second?
yeah, you're gonna amend.
I'm gonna amend it
20.
upward to 80.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a motion to, I'm sorry, Jen, you all set on that? Okay. So I'll make a motion that we reduce the middle school sub salary by 493. I want to say
I'll second that one.
second. That will get us to 80,000. discussion on that?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What if we go over? What happens then?
We have to find the money within the budget because it's bottom line budget.
Just like
We ask them to do it.
turn the heat down a little bit for a couple days. Okay.
Terry has to start bringing pellets from his house.
Yes.
If no other discussion,
Um,
Ed?
we've done this the last couple of years, so and since this year, we seem to have a really tight budget, so we ain't going anywhere this year. Substitute pays have been going up and then just leaving a little bit of room
that's,
for the increase in substitute pay maybe next year, I would do because 80,000 pretty much putting it to where I think we're gonna be this year. I would go with 17,493, so you could make it 85,000, but
all right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion? Aye.
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 Opposed? So motion carries 4-1.
It's 80.
So it's 20, yeah, where it's now, the new number is 80, it's going down by 22,493. My next one is, are we keeping, just to be clear, we're adding the FCS back in at the middle school, correct? Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna make a motion to reduce middle school line, I think it's 500,733. New furniture and fixtures, the traveling art for $1,300. I want to make sure that's where it came from.
The traveling, I remember talking about.
At the middle school, yeah. That's so that they can display their art where they would like.
Oh, like a mobile.
Yep. Oh, I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yep, I'm just trying to get there.
Okay.
Make sure that.
That's why I'm,
So I see a total of 5561. Is there a breakout
I
somewhere?
gotta go into the, because they gave you the breakdown.
if we get a second, so it's for discussion, so that we,
second,
oh, Marjorie's looking at that. Yeah, again, I'm looking at this, that's a nice to have, not a need. We have that whole connecting wing where we put art up. Granted, we can't put pottery and such, but there's a display case out near the front of the lobby. Again, it's a nice to have. I don't think it's a need.
Mhm. What page is that again? I'm sorry.
That's on,
Middle school, page 8.
Middle school.
personally,
I'm looking right.
I think that would be a good project for high school
That's
woodworking.
what I was,
that can be suggested that, I don't know what,
So large.
School
rolling
time?
cart. Yep, it's 773 out of that one.
it is 1,300, correct?
773 is the amount that I have.
For the traveling cart, how much?
$773.
Huh.
A cart of this size would give me a dependable, accessible.
I thought he said 1,300 when he came to it.
yeah, I thought it was bigger than that too.
I have.
That's storage. You were talking about, yeah, display. I remember that.
It was 1,300. Okay, so what's the number in the budget?
Oh, 1320.
1320. Okay, I gave him $20, so
Yeah.
my motion 13, so.
There was more than one in there. I didn't think
That's
it was,
which-
you requested more than one rolling cart.
Okay. So mine is, it's in the budget for 1320. Right now, we're at, who second my motion?
I did.
Joe did. You okay with? Yep, 1320. So we've amended it. Okay, thanks, Jim.
So what are we saying? Which-
We're gonna take a vote if nobody has any further discussion.
It would go down to 4241.
So we're saying we don't really want to put this in the budget.
Correct.
By the motion, yes, that would take it out.
But just that one.
Yeah.
Just that one item of that, yes. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
So it's down to what? 40.
42, 41.
Next up, have we had a chance, Marjorie, and I know you've been doing a lot of other things, with the tech director position being changed, I was asked the administration, unfortunately, I didn't ask last night, I asked this afternoon. Because I didn't think about it until this afternoon when I was looking at things. What is the net difference in the transfer of those individuals?
$26,534. Oh,
You want to do some more thinking? Because I've got others I can go to.
I just, 1 second, actually.
Is that benefits included in?
Yeah, that's what,
salary?
yeah.
Okay.
Steve, we're going to town now. You leave it. We gotta go fast.
$27,211.
$27,211. It reduces if we were to, okay. So my motion is to reduce the tech director benefits salary by $27,211. Again, it's
I'll
the
second
new
that.
tech directors reflects that person's benefit package.
All right, so you wouldn't have to take that off the salary and then off.
It'll be taken out of salary, so, yeah, she'll do it.
Figure it out.
Yeah. As opposed to us trying to get into the weeds. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tony. Discussion. All those in favor?
All right.
I'm sorry, I was distracted.
That's right. We're,
My sister, my.
fine, you don't need to explain.
Yeah.
Motion is to reduce the budget by $27,211.
Oh, okay.
Reflecting of the new technology director's benefits. So all those in favor?
All right,
So unanimous.
so that's gonna take
Pass.
5, 4, 5, 5 off salary and the rest off insurance.
All right. And this one is, I had a question. I had in my notes that right now the budget for the high school principal mileage is 2,000.
As a typo, I thought.
And I thought that we could reduce that by 1,800 and it would be 200. I don't think, was that changed in the,
I didn't change it, but
it should be 200. Is that what? Okay. So my motion is to change object code 500-580 in the high school budget principal mileage from 2,000 to 200, so a reduction of $1,800. Get a second for that.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimous. Next up, I'm going to make a motion to eliminate the following or high school co-curriculars. Boys JV soccer in the amount of $1,800. Girls JV soccer in $1,926. Girls basketball, $2,404. Boys JV baseball, $2,061. Girls JV softball, $3,672. Cinematography, $735. Drama, $1,070. Forestry, $995. Interact Club, $687 in the amount of $15,350. And this is again, these are the programs, except for one that I didn't put in the list, but that weren't run in the last year. Go ahead, Joe.
What was,
Before I get a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
What's the total of?
My total is $15,350. I'll let
Which
Marge,
is the one you left?
John, that was way too fast.
I'll give it to you again. That's fine. The one I didn't take out, I'm gonna look at the notes, but I had to do with high school I'm gonna look to make sure.
All JV or varsity assists?
I think it was varsity assistant, because I felt that, that's the position where I think if we're only having a varsity baseball coach, who's coaching third? So I put that in there
No,
thinking
who's
that,
on first?
exactly.
Yeah, that's the right number.
What line was that again, John? Oh, that wasn't.
Co-curricular is 500,113. So it goes from 183,805 down to 168,455. So Marjorie, the numbers again. You ready?
I'm looking at the list that I sent you.
Okay.
So
1,800.
Yep.
1926. 2404. 2061. 3672. 735. 1070. $995, and then $687 were the,
You're saying that those have not, nobody's run those.
that's
teams, there's
according to the
nobody
administration,
signing up for any
that's
of
correct.
that?
They haven't run, but I know the boys and girls JV did not run this year. I don't believe they ran in recent history. Go ahead, Terry.
We're working really hard to have drama this year. To be honest with you, we've almost a 6 to 12 drama performance.
I was gonna,
6 to 12?
Grade 6 to 12.
Oh,
Get it going. Yeah, we're trying to get drama
I
back.
thought you were thinking kids.
No, that's
Grade
grade 6 to 12 drama, whether
Yep.
it's musical or drama. I just want to be honest. Everything else, I get, but I think
We're
there's,
trying to do that this year?
there's a strong possibility that drama could come back. I think all of the administrators want it back. You'd offer something else for those kids.
So, two questions. What's Interact? I don't even know what that is.
That is in students, and I can't explain it completely, but it has to do with the Rotary Club and the students that are affiliated with the Rotary. It's, I believe it, yeah.
Okay. And then cinematography in this case, is this video like,
I think so.
like,
We haven't had it in
like
years.
movies, TV,
Yeah.
that kind of cinematography?
And we haven't had it for years, correct? Is
Yeah.
that what you said?
I don't think it's been around.
Cause they're all lined up for that camera class.
And get credit.
Bingo.
I'm actually surprised with all those digital cameras that they're not trying to take a cinematography. They can shoot great
You could
video with
do-
those.
Go ahead,
You said
Joe.
the nice camera.
I was actually going with, I would have kept the drama club
Yeah.
in there.
If-
You didn't have, did you have robotics in there? You went through it so fast, I couldn't hear.
No.
No,
No, that wasn't the ones that is being
Yeah, no.
actively participated in, so I haven't touched
Okay, I
anything that
wouldn't
was.
support that anymore.
So what I'll do is, if Tony's amicable, I will add back in drama for $1,070.
I will be amicable.
So that will put that back in. So can you do the new number for me, Marjorie?
14,280.
14,280. Any other discussion?
Nobody wants to do soccer, huh?
What's that?
Oh, Varsity, but not JV.
Not JV. Okay.
Are there just not enough people or
Yeah,
everyone's just so
what-
good they all make varsity?
12, 13 boys playing soccer. There's
Yeah,
a
they
lot of
barely,
sports.
they had, yeah, it was, yeah.
Football's put a heart to boys soccer, just being real.
Oh, I mean,
Well,
Yep.
the number, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. All those in favor of eliminating $14,280 from the co-curricular at the high school? Motion passes unanimously.
I would like to say though, if we do have more students that come into the high school, we would definitely probably put that back in my mind. Cause we'd have more students that would.
so if there's a demand for
If
it,
there's
that
a
would,
sudden increase.
Yeah. But right now, going by the enrollment that we have today, right? Or we're projecting for next year. All right, next up, middle school co-curriculars. Before I do anything, would that stipend of $1,070 cover the person that's doing the drama for 6 to 12? Or are they gonna pull from middle school and high school drama?
Again, I don't know. The vote would be 6 to 12. If we get a large participation, it might need 2
All right,
people.
then-
So I'd
then I
rather be
will-
safe than sorry for $1,200 or whatever it is. How much?
916.
So, all right.
All right, so my motion is to reduce middle school co-curriculars chess club in the amount of $13.78,
it's an expensive club.
What?
strategic card club in $995, intramural volleyball grade 5 and 6, $1,717, intramural volleyball grades 7 and 8, $1,407. And I've got don't know the math because I had the drama club in there.
Are those stipends?
Yes.
Where are they on our,
If we get a second first, I'll tell you in a minute. Yeah, okay. Where are they? Where?
in the budget list?
They're under object code 500-113 on the middle school.
So they're on that, but they're also on your co-curricular card sheet that I think would be at the beginning.
So I don't see them under 500-113 in the middle school. That's why I was asking. I see in-house suspension.
just says.
Oh, it's just total
co-curricular.
co-curricular.
That's what I'm saying, if you're looking for the individual,
Yes.
that would be at the front of your binder.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh,
Page one of the middle school budget, right?
Yeah, but the list of co-curriculars,
Yeah,
that's,
that's
I think
just-
what Steve.
that's-
Oh, I thought you were looking, sorry,
Here we go.
There you go.
That's what I was looking for. Thanks.
sorry,
No, no,
I
that's okay.
misunderstood. All right,
I wasn't thinking it was in two spots.
how much does that say?
yeah, I'm trying to,
5,497,
what?
497.
497, thank you.
I apologize. Can you give me the list again? Chess?
Yep, chess club, strategic card club, intramural volleyball grade 5 and 6, intramural volleyball grade 7 and 8.
Those four. Okay.
Um,
Go ahead.
I would be good except for the volleyball 7 and 8.
We have volleyball. We have varsity now. I don't know if it did.
No, I thought we had volleyball at the middle school as a sport.
Yeah.
Maybe I was thinking, you're right, sorry, my fault.
That's why, yeah, that's why,
So this isn't the official volleyball. This is that.
well, what happened was we had added, was it 2 years ago or this year, we added volleyball to the budget.
Yeah.
For a sport, and they just kept intramural.
On there too.
Little cushion.
Any further discussion?
Saddens me that there's nobody in the chess club.
All right,
I
so
open that kind of door.
get all those in favor of the motion to reduce co-curriculars at the middle school by 5,497. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next one up, I've got mentor program stipend. Where are we on that? Where we're at, in the budget right now, it's 7,000.
Yep. I think we had talked to 10 to make sure we were doing it right.
Well, I was yeah, and you were gonna do some more contemplating and,
There's 10.
okay. So the mentor program, and is that in co-curricular, I think? I mean, curriculum
Correct.
budget
Yep.
is 500,126. Budget for 7,000. I'm making a motion to add 3,000 to it to make it, if my math is right, 10,000. Pretty quick. But as we talked about before, we want to make sure that we've got enough money in there to do it. And I know Terry's looking at revamping, is that?
Well, making it a stronger program, yes.
Yep. Okay. Any further discussion? Oh,
Where are we?
we're at
One of curriculum.
Curriculum, thank you. But you're adding 3 to the mentoring.
right.
No, we're going this way. Oh, I'm doing it at the detail of expenses. Okay. Yeah, it's probably in both places.
Everybody all set? All right, all those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. The next one up. I'd like to increase the school board clerk pay from $135 to $145. That is an increase of $310.
You're looking
And
at
again-
one sheet, we gotta jump around here.
Yeah, I know that. I wasn't very organized, Tony. I wasn't organized.
Great, yeah. Where are we?
Right, so that
I was thinking about it. I
Wide
said,
is that district, right? School board clerk.
yeah, it's budgeted for 4,185. My proposal is to increase it 4,495. If I get a second, I'll discuss it.
I'll second.
Discuss it.
Said they increased $310, right?
Yes, I mean, the year, it's budgeted for 31 meetings at 135. I increased it by $10. I can do that math. What's the matter? You look like I did the math wrong.
I'm not lost. Okay.
And the logic is, according to the information we got, this hasn't been increased since 2018. So I think it's long overdue. Any further discussion? You all set, Marjorie? I just want to make sure you're all set.
$10 increase.
Per
How many meetings?
31.
31 is what it's in there for.
300.
Now, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
If we have 38 meetings, does she still get
Yeah,
that much? Or is
she
the
gets
next
100.
Additional.
The clerk would get
145?
135 each time they do it.
So that
regard-
that could go over if we have
If-
more meetings.
Yep,
Okay.
or it could go less if we have.
So that's not just a straight salary that you divide by the number.
Just keep it to 31 meetings and we won't have to,
Optimist, I'm an optimist.
keep it to 31 meetings and we won't have to worry about it.
I just want to make sure that you're not dividing that into the.
No,
If
it's,
we have 40 meetings, then
No.
she gets shafted up.
no. It,
145
based off of
Per meeting.
the budgeting per meeting, and if it goes over, then it goes over. If it's under, we'll go
Our pay
under.
doesn't change if we have 1,000 meetings.
I think we'd be looking for a new clerk. Any further discussion now that we've, all those in favor?
I
All right, so be 10.
How much is that? for-
$310
For the year?
for the year, that it would increase it, the new budget line item would be $4,495.
I think Conscom pays theirs like $6,000. Contribution, the Conservation Commission.
Another part, town, no,
That's just another, forget it.
yep, exactly, another.
That's a good deal for
All
a
right.
job.
So we should go more, is that what you're
Right,
saying?
yeah. It's,
My next is to decrease overall the salaries and social security and retirement in the amount of 150,000 district-wide. And I'll wait for a motion to, or a second if I get one. And
I'll make that work.
again, we've done this for a number of years. I think maybe once or twice in the last 10 years. It hasn't been done, probably even longer than that.
All right, can you again orient us where you are?
Yep, this is district-wide, and I'll explain it, because it's not there's no line.
There's no one line, okay.
Right, it applies to all, because what happens is historically, we have, underspent, salary, Social security and retirement. 2017, 2018 school year, we underspent by approximately 402,000. 18-19, approximately 390,000. 19-20 school year, approximately 950,000. 2021, approximately 705,000. 21-22, approximately 1,074,000. And then this past school year, 22-23, approximately 1,173,000. So again, I discounted the last 3 years, so 22, and I looked at 19-20, 18-19, and 17-18 years. And those average for those 3 years was 580,000. So I'm going with 150 because we've taken out how many paras?
6.
6.
That's $184,000 right there.
Yeah, so I took that out, understanding that we hadn't done that type of thing before. So
So you're
That's my
saying you want to
logic.
reduce it 150 on top of the 6 paras of 184?
I'm talking salary, because what happens is we, as you know, when we hire traditionally, we don't always, when we hire back teachers, either and paras and custodial maintenance, administration, historically, the number, we've always over budgeted because we've hired either, we haven't been able to replace everybody, or we haven't been able to replace everybody and we've hired people at lower salaries. Joe,
how many people have put in there, at least suggested they might fund this year?
I only have one definite.
This is,
but they have to have by October 1st. And how many of that? You don't know.
A good number.
And usually we have that good number each year, right? I mean, in the sense that because they have to do that's, and then they can choose,
The bullet.
I think by December 1st, right?
I've never been in a district where people put in for retirement and then don't retire. So for me, before coming here, I
Yep.
put in their retirement
Yep.
and I would budget,
Mhm.
right, a lower amount for their replacement. That does not happen here.
We had that in Barrington. We put a little language in the CBA to.
Yeah, that does not happen here. They.
Yeah.
The current language is,
Back.
we're dealing with the current language, so, yep.
my biggest fear is, especially where prices have gone up and stuff like that, we're gonna have teachers that we're gonna stay in one more year or 2 more years and retire later on just for the sheer fact is that they don't wanna start eating up their retirement right away now or get a job somewhere else. I think now. I mean, I'd be willing to go to 75, but not 150.
Well, and if I can just clarify your numbers, John, those numbers were because we couldn't hire everybody we had budgeted, right? We gave back, we had $1 million overage on our salary because we just couldn't hire enough people.
That was for the last 3 years. It was 700,000 and then 2 years of over 1 million. But I didn't even look at that. I looked at the previous 3 years to that, and the average was $580,000.
Was that the same
So-
situation though, that we had 580,000 on average because we weren't able to hire everybody?
Usually we had pretty close to hired everybody. We weren't short the numbers of people we were. I'm not going to say that because it's back 3 or 4 years ago. I'm not going to guarantee that, for example, we weren't short one para, but we have people coming and going all the time, right?
Right.
So that happens.
But
And
if
then we have
hit
to replace.
maximum density, we're in trouble.
What do you mean maximum density?
If we happen to hire all the open positions, then we don't have any shortfall
Well,
or overage.
when we've done that, and in those 3 years, we probably did that pretty well. We still were over budget by, on average, $580,000. And that's a result of, again, people coming and going. So we're not, the minute a para leaves, for example, on November 15th of 2018, we didn't replace them immediately. So there's some gap there. Those kinds of things, they add up. And last year, I think we did 250. So any more discussion?
Just one more clarification. The 6 paras that we talked about before, this is not them. This is in addition to those.
Correct.
I guess I'd say I'd be on board with what Joe said.
You what?
I'd rather go half of that
Okay.
personally.
Any other? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 3-2. And that's the last I have of mine. I'll open it up one more time for anybody else that want to make any adjustments. If not, we'll ask Marjorie to do a calculation as to where this ended up. Anybody have anything else? Joe's calculating down there, so I just want to, are you all set, Joe?
Yeah, I'm just double checking to make sure.
Right.
You're gonna have something. I think you got a couple of ones. I got.
When you're ready, Marjorie.
Oh, I had.
Okay.
Page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 salary lines that are not affecting FICA. I didn't know if you wanted to reduce those lines by the FICA.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Increase those ones. So there were
And yeah, go
3
over the,
decreases and 2 increases, so I would have to adjust them accordingly to their lines, but the total would be a decrease of $2,980.
to 29 what? Thank you. So I'm going to make a motion to reduce the budget by 2,980. And I'll look
Second.
second. And that is a result of Marjorie's calculations for FICA, right? And not at retirement. Okay, thank you. Any discussion on that line? All right. All those in favor? All right. No.
Aye.
Joe, did you?
Nope, I think we have everything there.
No, I mean, did you vote on that?
Oh, yeah, I said yes.
Okay, I didn't see it, that's all. Thank you. So motion passes unanimously. Can you give us a,
So it's a decrease of the original presented budget of $54,076. So your new budget is, double check that this formula is adding up correctly. 30782,561.
and you said it reduced it, everything that we had done tonight by 54,076?
Yes.
Thank you.
Say that one more time, Marjorie, because I got a different number.
30782,561.
I had 30,787,921.
You want to give me that number again? 3787.
921.
I'm looking for a difference. I don't see it, but I can go over the cut that you want individually.
Start with the 38,
So
36, 637. We added the 55, 865 for the,
You missed the 5251, the reduced further by. That's the difference.
oh, you're right.
I don't see where you are.
So you had said that there was an additional 5,215 that we were going to reduce one of those.
Got
We
it.
added back 55, 685, but you reduced that by 5,000 and it's really around 50. I think that's the 5,000. So if I do this,
Between Joe's and mine is close to that. I'm 5360 off. Between Joe's and mine.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I put that in my motion before, so. But it doesn't matter. We can just go vote on the bottom line.
Do you want me to go over the changes that I have?
Nope, but you can just, it's right there. That's the right one.
Say your question again, please.
Do you want me to go through the list of the added and the reductions that we did?
I'm all
Mine
set.
Joe's difference.
I'm good. I,
He said he was all
Oh.
set.
no, yeah,
I just wanted to,
cause when I made the motion, it was only for the teacher. I didn't add in the 52 or 5215, so. Are we, do you want a motion on that, John, or not? It doesn't matter to you.
the bottom line,
No, the further reduction in cost for teacher one.
I'm confused.
So when we were doing,
Yep.
when we were talking about the first three teachers at the elementary.
Oh, right.
And we voted to add one back in,
Okay,
there was also that change amount for one of them. That if we were gonna keep that.
Yeah,
reduce
it wouldn't, yeah,
It would
okay.
reduce it by an additional $5,200. 5215.
So we didn't reduce it by that amount.
You didn't, but I did.
We have to make that, it was the motion,
I guess I didn't think it needed a
Yeah.
motion.
okay. I just want to make sure that if the motion reads differently, I just want to make sure that I have to go back in time, Jen,
My
sorry.
motion was only to add in teacher three, which would.
Yeah, I got it. I just want to make sure that the motion wasn't worded so that I just want to make sure we clean it up tonight so that we don't have to come back and fix it later if I can avoid it.
So is this the motion to add the UA teacher back in? Is that-
At the elementary school.
Yeah, that's the motion. Move to add the UA teacher back in.
So
Oh,
I'll make a,
I think we're all set because we just didn't use a number on that line, on that amount. In the motion, Joe,
okay,
right? So Marjorie took the correct number, right?
Well, I did two different things.
Gosh.
She
So
took
I
the,
added, I added the elementary school back.
you got it
in.
right, we don't.
That's what I'm saying.
But I,
I'm just looking
so for that first teacher, when I gave you guys
Boy.
the original amount and the updated amount, and we could increase it or decrease it. I decreased that one teacher that we were still taking out.
Correct.
That makes sense.
So you took out that 50, whatever.
5215,
Thank you.
which is why Joe didn't have it in.
That's fine.
Well, I'll make a motion that we accept the 24-25 school budget of $30,782,560.
Get a second.
I got
Wait,
561.
561.
I got 561.
I have 5215.
Wait, what? You said 561, right? That's what
I have 561.
No, he's talking the whole budget, not the $5,200.
No,
Yeah,
Okay.
I got 561.
Somebody said 30,782,561
okay.
because we all have the
Yeah.
same.
I'll make a motion, I'll amend my motion here
I did BAs.
to accept the 24-25 budget of $30,782,561.
Thank you.
I think you said something
He
different.
said 560.
He said
Yeah.
five.
Okay, that's, I just want to make sure. All right. So, and did we get a second? I'm sorry.
Second.
Okay, Tony's second. All right, now. Are we able to calculate the tax impact that we're imposing on the voters?
Oh my gosh.
We would need the adequacy money for that, right?
We already have the revenue right here. Yeah, that's in there.
So what do you subtract that? 246.
No, I'm gonna say it's 7.5%.
I'm just going by the numbers in front of me. Got two different shades of paper.
And,
This is like, yeah, I got the cheap paper. This is like they got from the art room. Like sketch pad paper.
I know you're deep in math over there, but how do you even pull that off?
no
I
question.
don't know right now.
Yeah, let her,
I'm grasping right now. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
I did write that down somewhere.
My math. They were close. I don't know, it was a wizardry. Just the numbers. Huh?
Might have a position for you.
I want an ice cream. Like if Price is Right rules, close without going over. I want an ice cream. That number, I subtracted this number and then,
I don't remember.
yeah.
I go by the BNs, I know that.
And then I had decimals.
That's our new school tax,
That's the number I come up with.
but that's what that would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Tired yet?
I know.
I'm just immature.
I shared with you though.
I just wasn't even sure where the A's and P's and C's were landing. That's why I was like.
I
wait.
understand.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I'm probably way off. That's what I come.
So we get this, we take this number out.
Office in 5 minutes. Come on.
Dude, don't.
But now I do like football. It gets me out of here.
So the tax burden on the.
Oh, right,
town is
behind
that minus the adequate factors.
Oh, okay.
Yes, well, Sherry's watching. I won't do that to her. I don't think I'm not gonna be, I'm gonna lose. They haven't played well.
It's just college football. What? I mean, come on.
Talking about the Bengals, but anyway, our budget is being, well, Marjorie's doing that. The budget is gonna be presented to the budget committee Tuesday night.
Yep.
After Thanksgiving,
We have,
28th. And
I can tell you the dates of everything. There's a lot of them.
So does that, what does that entail? Like, does everybody have to be there for that?
It's your choice.
You're at the budget committee meetings anyway.
Huh?
You come to half the budget committee meetings.
I haven't come in the last little bit. Have you seen? I I can't keep bugging people. They're gonna like hate me, so.
It's the prerogative of each board member other than the rep, which is Tony. And then
Okay.
the,
I'm just not
Okay.
sure I have a conflict that night. So I'm trying to,
you know, you'll be posting that, I presume, for a quorum, Jen, thank you. Because I know,
so we just the spectators, right?
Yeah.
Basically.
yes, and if there are questions that come up or comments, then we are allowed, usually, the budget committee allows individual board members to assist in the process.
Yeah.
December 5th is follow-up questions.
December 5th.
And then the public hearing is on January 2nd with a snow date of the 4th.
They're aggressive.
January 2nd?
Yep, Tuesday night. Then we have a board
On the
meeting the
heels of New
third.
Year's Eve.
Yes,
New Year's Day.
hey, we hit the,
Professional.
that's right, we hit the Budget committee's all over it. We're all over it.
9:30, I'm in bed on New Year's Eve.
Times we're fighting the
I think-
snow, the power
But
outages.
then I don't wanna say it. 5.79,
What? $5.79 increase?
yeah,
Where were we?
I'm
Increase?
questioning my math.
Hmm.
What did you say the original was?
So the original, I don't know what.
$13.95 is what was
On
on.
my calculation, I got 17.
That was the total though. So you're low.
By how much?
What'd she say, 5 what?
579.
So we're looking at
So
19 something.
$13.95.
Yep.
But hey, Price is Right rules, I still win. Nobody else
Didn't
guessed.
go over, that's right, 1974.
Didn't go over,
is what
you're
that
right.
Comes out to.
All over it.
Want my ice cream?
You get that, ice cream is on the
Make
way.
an ice cream sandwich.
I'm Sammy.
Are you comfortable with that number?
I'm not,
Friday memo?
but that's what I have right now.
Yeah,
I knew it was
maybe
gonna
get a
be,
more comfortable number.
Like, I know it was gonna be high.
because we're up a
I,
couple dollars.
Yeah, like 5, almost, right? 4. Over last year.
I got the budget in front of me from last year.
So it makes sense that it would be up $4.
I don't know.
All the heat and temperature
All right,
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's half the problem here.
So-
We gotta sit here and basically penalize the kids for increased costs that are.
when you're ready, Joe. All right, so if there's no more discussion about the, budget, I am going to oppose the budget. I'm gonna vote no, because I think that's too much. I said this all along, so. Anybody else? Right,
What happens if you oppose the budget?
the vote
Well,
will
we have to
be
vote.
whatever it is with me voting no.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying, what if we all voted, we don't support the budget?
Then we'd have to revisit the budget.
We have to go back.
Yeah,
And revisit the budget. Yep.
means we're not going home tonight.
So, anybody else wish to go on? All right,
Well, Joe motion, did someone second?
A second.
I believe Tony did, right?
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, myself, so,
I'm gonna oppose too.
oh, I'm sorry. 3-2. Motion passes 3-2. All right. I think.
I don't know where,
Right?
that's good.
We don't need to do anything else, is that correct?
Talk about primary day, we can amend the agenda, and get that out of the way.
No, I think we'll wait until December. Does that work?
Well, timing, that's all. What is it, January 23rd?
That's the primary day.
Do something out of the.
Well, that's what,
Yep.
yeah.
I just throwing it out there. Your call.
What's the board, is the board ready to have that conversation about? Terry's asking us to amend the agenda to include a conversation about what we're gonna do on the presidential primary day, which has now been established to January 23rd. The conversation would be, are we gonna have school that day? Are we gonna, no school that day? Are we gonna, whatever we're gonna do? So are we interested in having that? Are we ready to have that conversation?
I can have it.
I just want to make
It'll
sure.
Take very long.
Didn't we, do that we had it last year, right? Or last time we had it.
Well, we didn't have a presidential
Yeah.
election, so it wasn't.
Oh, I thought the last time there was a primary, we did have the schools were open.
I don't remember. But anyways, all right. So if we can have a motion to amend the agenda to have a conversation about,
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to talk about the presidential primary day at the request of the superintendent.
get a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All right. So the conversation is, now that the primary date has been established, we were going to have a conversation last night and just coincidentally, they announced they were going to have it yesterday. The conversation is, what do we want to do for that day? Do we want to have school that day? Or do we not have school that day? Do we have a teacher in service day that day?
My recommendation.
But I am one, so what do we want to do?
I feel like every election we've had the last few years, more and more people. So I'm expecting.
Yeah.
A couple thousand people.
We had 3,000 at the last one,
Right.
primary.
Presidential.
Yes.
And the interesting part is this, and I'm not saying it's different, it's just the Democratic side is not going to have, I think
There won't be anybody.
there won't be as many. I'm not saying that but I'm just commenting. Anyways, for me, I would prefer us to have no school that day and make it up in June, because I think it's important that we've already had a number of PD days added over the years. And I think it's important that we're in the job of educating. So that's where I'm at. Anybody else?
What was that again? No school?
I would have no school that day and make it up in June.
No school or like no school for the kids or no school at all?
No school at all.
Well, what if it snows that day and then
Well,
we,
Then they have an election and I can't picture it, changing.
Yeah, who calls that election? It wouldn't
Would
be
be
the
the
town
Attorney
moderator, right?
Not me.
Attorney General.
No, no,
Make
no,
it.
it's not the
State election.
state election. I don't think.
what I meant was if it snows, we wouldn't have had school anyway.
Oh,
Oh, all right. Now you're talking.
Then.
It's gonna be my goal again. I think right now our school would end on a Wednesday, or excuse me, a Tuesday. If everything perfect, so I would have 3 snow days. And hopefully that 4th day might be a remote day, just so we don't bring the kids back on a Monday, because
Yeah,
as
let's
you
not do that
know,
again.
well, that's what we did this year.
We'll have-
Lucky and had that one remote day and everybody was out on a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my goal. That's my goal. I think the kids need snow days, but also I think it's silly to bring them back on a Monday because
You mean, you mean.
Show up anyhow.
Parents,
I know what happens, you know.
parents demand a snow day and we have to bring them back on Monday.
Just like, you know,
That's different.
yeah, and it worked out well last year. So.
Monday thing will result of parents saying, let the kids play in the snow.
Yep,
So
so,
that's how that extra day got added on.
I mean, that's what we talked about
Right.
years ago when we first, I think we're allowed to do this. We said basically 50, we tried to be 50, wanted to be 50-50 if we could, so that the younger kids could have a snow day, yet also not end up in
not if it's a
June 25th.
rainy, snowy, icky day that you know you can't, that's really not a great day for a kid to go outside.
Right, yeah.
Say to yourself, all right, we're gonna be
Remote that.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's
a foot.
the state says we can only have remote days, weather related.
Correct.
So what would the board like to do?
I'll make a motion that we, take election day off and June.
Get a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Oh, so we have an election in January and then again in March, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the way it works. All right.
January.
If we get a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Good.
Second.
Oh,
Second
wait,
by
I wanted to
Steve.
say something first.
go ahead.
I just wanted to thank the food service staff at the high school and for a wonderful lunch last week. Marjorie was there. It was a great time sitting in the cafeteria with a bunch of kids. And today I went and had the Thanksgiving lunch at the elementary school with my daughter.
Oh, very nice. All right.
Yeah, they're all wonderful people. They work very hard and I want to thank them for their
Effort.
effort. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. All right.
Thank you, Tony.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. All right.